Hello everyone, welcome back to Punita Science World. Students, in today's video lesson, we are going to discuss the types of asexual reproduction. So let us first understand what asexual reproduction is. As I have already explained you in the last video, that asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction that does not involve the fusion of gametes. Okay, so it does not involve fusion of gametes, means no fertilization, right? As well as you see, I have mentioned here that here a single parent is involved and no gamete formation takes place. That simply means there does not involve fusion of gametes. Okay, so in this mode of reproduction, the fusion of gametes does not take place. Okay, and the change in the number of chromosome also does not take place. If there is no fertilization, that simply means the change in the number of chromosomes does not occur, right? The offspring that arise by asexual reproduction from a single cell or from a multicellular organism inherit the genes of that particular parent. So the point here you need to remember is, first, it does not involve fusion of gametes or no gamete formation, and here a single parent is involved. Clear? A single parent is involved. So these 2 points are important, right? So let's now move further, and now we are going to discuss the type of asexual reproduction in simple organisms. So we basically divide the asexual reproduction into 5 types. The first is binary fission, second is budding, then fragmentation, vegetative propagation, and sporogenesis. Now we are going to discuss each one of these in detail. So let's start with the binary fission. The students, binary fission is a method of reproduction where there is a separation of the parent cell into 2 new daughter cells, as you see in the picture. Okay, so here I have mentioned you the definition in the form of asexual reproduction, in which an organisms divide into 2, each part carrying 1 copy of genetic material, right? So that simply means that there is a separation of the parent cell into 2 new daughter cells. Okay, 2 new daughter cells. This process happens with the division and multiplication of parent's genetic material. Okay, DNA. This DNA duplicates. Okay, so parent's genetic material duplicate, and ultimately it results into 2 daughter cells, and each daughter cell receive 1 copy of its parent DNA. Okay, am I clear? So here I have mentioned you each detail which I have just mentioned you. So here in binary fission, the binary fission occurs without any spindle formation in the cell. Okay, and in this, the single DNA molecule, means the genetic material, replicate, okay, and then attaches each copy to various part of the cell membrane. And when the cells start to get drawn apart, the origin or the actual one and the replicated chromosomes get apart. Clear? So here you just have to keep in consideration that when an organisms divide into 2, and when each part carry 1 copy of genetic material, in such case the fission is known as binary fission. Clear? Okay. Now let's move to the second type, budding. Students, budding is a form of asexual reproduction, okay, which results from the outgrowth of a part of a cell or body. As you see in the picture, this is hydra. So I am going to explain you the process of budding in hydra. So what actually happened? Budding in hydra involve a small bud. Okay, as you see here, this is the bud. Okay, which is developed from its parent hydra. This is the parent hydra. Clear? Through the repeated mitotic division of its cells, the small bud then receives its nutrition from the parent hydra and grows healthy. Growth starts by developing small tentacles, as you see in the picture. Okay, so now they have started growing tentacles. This is the new bud which has tentacles. Here also you can see, here also, and this is the detached new hydra. Okay, so what actually happened? The small bird receives its nutrition from the parent hydra and grows healthy. Growth starts by developing small tentacles and the mouth as you see in the picture. Finally, the small and the newly produced hydra gets separated from its parent hydra and becomes an independent organism. So this is the independent hydra, or you can say independent organism. And this type of reproduction is basically found to be present in many invertebrate animals like corals and hydra. And the best known example is of hydra. And many a time you get question from this part. So this part is very important. And they usually ask budding in hydra. So this is important, and I have explained you the whole process. Okay. So what actually happened? The budding in hydra involve a small bud which is developed from the parent hydra through repeated mitotic division of its cell. Then the small bird receives its nutrition from the parent body or the parent hydra and grows healthy. After growth, the small bird, or you can say this hydra, the small bird, okay, they develop small tentacles and the mouth, and finally the newly produced hydra gets separated from its parent body. Clear? And this is how budding takes place in corals and hydras, right? Now we are going to discuss the third one, the fragmentation. Okay. So student, fragmentation is an asexual reproduction in which an organism simply breaks in individual pieces at maturity. Okay, as you see in the picture. So this is the picture of Spirogyra, which is an algae. Here, the body of the organism of individual species or any organism divides, or you can say break in individual pieces at when it attain its maturity. Okay, and the best known example of fragmentation which is found to be present in Spirogyra. Okay, so what actually happens when water and nutrients are available? Okay, when water and nutrients are available, means in the availability of water and nutrients, the alga or the Spirogyra grow and multiply rapidly by fragmentation. Okay, so what actually happen in presence of water and nutrients, the Spirogyra, the body of the Spirogyra, okay, break up into two or more fragments, and these fragments or pieces grow into new individuals. Okay, and this process continues and cover a large area in a short period of time. So the whole process, this whole process means that this whole process of fragmentation which occur in specifically in alga, it seems to be an essential mode of asexual reproduction in which an organism simply break into many individuals species which eventually grow into new individuals. Okay, and this happen when water and nutrients are readily available in the surrounding. Clear? Fine. I hope this is clear to you. The best known example is of Spirogyra. Clear? Now let's move to the next part, vegetative propagation. The student, vegetative propagation is actually the it's a process of formation of new plants from the detached vegetative part of the parent plant. Okay, so it basically involves the vegetative parts of the plant, and the vegetative parts like leaf, roots and stem, and these vegetative parts give rise to a new individual. Okay, and the detached part of the plant cell has enough to divide and produce a new individual. So vegetative propagation is of two types. Okay, it can be either natural vegetative propagation, it occurs naturally, as well as artificially. So there are two main types of vegetative propagation. Natural vegetative propagation occurs by means of roots, underground stems, subaerial stems, shoots, aerial shoots, leaves and bulbils. Whereas artificial vegetative propagation occurs by use of special vegetative parts like tubers, parts of rhizome, etc. by cutting, grafting, layering, right? And this whole we will discuss. This is the types of vegetative propagation. We will discuss this in our next video, right? Now let's move further to the fifth type of asexual reproduction, and that is sporogenesis. Student, when reproduction occurs or from spores is, we call it sporogenesis. Means in sporogenesis the reproduction occur by spores. Okay, so basically the spores are the tiny, as you see in the picture, these are the tiny pores, granules. Okay, so this is the production of reproductive cells which we call spores. So these tiny granules are basically the reproductive cells. Okay, so what actually happened, as you see, you must have seen the fungus that grow on bread or pickles. uh, Spores begin to grow when they find favorable condition, and that is when they get enough moisture, warmth and oxygen, then a new plant grow from each spore, as you see in the picture. Okay, so under favorable condition, right, this sporangium burst out, releasing spores which are actually the reproductive cells, and these spores are, you can say that they are enough, when they have enough moisture, warmth and oxygen in the environment, they grow, uh, they grow into a new organism. Clear? And this is how sporogenesis or the spore formation takes place, and this is the fifth mode of asexual reproduction. I hope these 5 asexual means of reproduction are clear to you. In the next video, we will discuss the 5 vegetative propagation, types of vegetative propagation by natural means as well as by artificial means, right? So this is all for today. In the next video, we will discuss the vegetative propagation. Thank you, students.